Hello, welcome to this week's Devil in Detail podcast. I'm Rob Paxton, and we're here talking all things Salford Red Devils. You're on the show this week, as ever. Back, missed last week. Paul Whiteside, how was your week been, mate?
Yeah, all right, thank you, mate. Yeah, glad to be back on. I know I've missed the last couple, or last week anyway. But no, it's got. I'd rather be doing this than under someone's floor somewhere. So it's nice to be back on, mate. I'm looking forward to the show. There's been quite a lot going on, hasn't there? So yeah, I'm excited, mate.
Yeah, keeping the economy going, so me and Paul Parkin can live the life, Parky. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's been good for me. Like I said last week, I think this is the first time I've worked with you both for about 3 weeks now. I don't know what you're both up to. You only me taking this serious, or what?
Yeah, something like that, Parky. Yeah, so there's loads and loads to go at. We're going to look at the Wigan game. We'll look at all the big news coming out of the club this week. We've got Paul Whiteside's amateur report, and we're going to preview the game against Huddersfield on Friday night. So what we'll do, we'll start off with the Wigan defeat on Friday.
You're listening to Devil in the Detail, and this is your big match review.
So Salford Devils were defeated against Wigan Warriors at the DW Stadium. They went down 16 points to 6. Paul, defeat against Wigan. Talk us through it.
Me or Parky?
You, Paul.
Right. We're both Pauls.
Well, he's Parky.
It was a funny game, Rob, for me. I thought Wigan were there for the taking in that first half. Again, our Achilles heel of not being able to create enough chances in a game just bit us on the backside again. I don't think we made a line break in the entire game, did we? We got that try from Burgess, which was a good finish, good try. But there was one stage in the second half where we had sort of at least 4 pivots on the pitch. Igano was on, Tuilole was on, Kevin Brown was on, and who else was on? Who was the other one? Whose name escapes me?
Atkins.
Chris Atkins. Yeah, and I didn't get what we were trying to do there. It was strange. We didn't seem to have enough runners. We seemed to be going sideways. A lot of it was lateral, and it wasn't quite direct enough. And for me, Wigan, they moved Jackson Hastings from full back to half back, and he was the difference. He was the difference between the two sides. To me, he's the only player they've got. You take him out of their side, they're so one-dimensional. It was unbelievable, and I think that's one of the best chances we've had at Wigan for a long time. And no, we were just a bit rudderless in the second half, and I don't think you could fault the effort. I thought the effort was tremendous. They tackled hard, they worked the socks off, but we just didn't have that cutting edge or that guile to break Wigan down, which was frustrating because it was an opportunity to get 2 points. So, talking about the game and talking through the game, yeah, I'd say it was a good effort, but, work needs to be done on the attack. Richard Marshall needs to sort out which is his best 2 half-backs. And Jackson Hastings was the difference. I thought he had a great game.
Yeah, the lineup was Tuilole here at fullback, Rhys Williams, Matty Costello, Dan Sargent, Joe Burgess, Chris Atkin, Kevin Brown, who came back from injury, Lee Mossop, Andy Ackers, Jack Ormonroyd, Harvey Levette, Elijah Taylor, and Danny Addy. On the bench was Atta Hingano, Josh Johnson, Paulie Paula, and Ellis Robson. Parker, Dan Sargent back, Kevin Brown back. Elijah Taylor back as well. I think it's good that Richard Marshall's got some bodies back with the games to come.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to see Sarge back. I think he had a really good game as well, considering he's been out for such a long time and throughout the season missed, large chunks. But I thought his link-up play with Burgess was brilliant. I think the two of them could be a real threat going forward if you get game time together. Bit of a concern as to where Kenny Seo goes for the rest of the year. I'm not 100%, but and obviously Inu and people like that. But no, I thought overall, like Paul said, the effort was definitely there. There wasn't a player on the pitch that I would, probably single out too much to say didn't contribute. It was for me, it was just our ball control. It was so poor. The second half when we did have the ball, I think we must have got out of our half probably twice with ball in hand. First half, we did really well. We completed full sets. We turned them around. We kept the ball in play, which you could see the Wigan players tiring a little bit at phases in that first half. But like Paul said, the switch from Wigan and Adrian Lampert put Jacko at half back for them was he was doing what he does. He was controlling the game. He had runners off him, which we didn't really have. I know what Paul was saying about having 4 half backs on at one point. And for me, there was nobody running off anyone. There was a lot of sideways running. Burgess did quite a bit of it, going across and a gap, but he needed somebody to run off him, make a run inside or at least be a decoy. And none of that happened in the second half. And it was all a bit flat. And I know a lot of the players were coming back, they haven't played for a while. Taylor and who played loose forward?
Andy Ackers.
Danny Addy.
Yeah.
Addy hadn't played for a while. So they were going to tire a little bit. We've still got players missing, but overall, I think like Paul, I think we had a chance. I said it last week on the podcast to you, Rob. We had nothing to worry about there with Wigan. I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be. And at half time, I was supremely confident that we could see that game out. But maybe there were a few weary legs, and obviously again, and I know we've talked about it, and I know the coach is probably banging his head, but the discipline was just not good enough. And I'm taking out the Higano incident. He's a lazy tackle that he's got wrong, and he's hit somebody high. You get a red card really for that. I think he was lucky to get a yellow. Everything else, we give penalties away at silly times, doing silly things. It's never like we give one away on the first tackle where it doesn't really matter. It's always when we get into the last tackle and we give them piggyback up the pitch, and that's cost us again, I think. And it has tired out a lot of lads who were probably a little bit weary.
Yeah, I think we've got to factor in the fact that we hadn't trained this week due to COVID. I think they had 2 sessions, I think, at the end of the week. I thought the first half was positive. Joe Burgess with his try, good solid defence. I thought we were quite patient really in attack as well. We made Wigan play out a lot. I suppose against big teams away from home, that's the kind of strategy you kind of look for, right? To build frustration in their crowd, and to go in our time 6-4 up. Paul, was a good thing. I thought we were in good position there. Unfortunately, second half, like Parky said, seemed to lose a bit of control. Discipline started to go as well, and I feel like Wigan squeezed us a bit, and we didn't. As soon as Wigan sort of got ahead, we didn't look like we had an answer to their questions.
No, I think we lacked a bit of composure in that second half. The first, I think the 6 points they got, the first 6 points were 3 penalty goals, weren't they, that sort of nudged them in front. Yeah. And we didn't recover from that. I mean, the sin binnings, like Parky said there, I think the Agano one was, I don't think it was malicious on Jackson Ace. He just missed time, wasn't it? So that is what it is. I think the Josh Johnson and Morgan Smithies one I thought was ridiculous. There was 2, but I think it was an high tackle on Josh Johnson. That was in the first half, wasn't it? And he had a bit of a set 2 with Smithies. So, I mean, he's just been tackled around the head. We got the penalty, and then 2 guys get sin bin. What I can't understand from is that why can't the referee just have to talk to him? Calm down, lads. High tackle. Just be careful. Why has everything got to be a sin bin now? I know this is probably for a different podcast, this debate, but to me, the referees sometimes, they like sanitising the game. It's a contact sport. They're going to have little tiffs and little bits. I mean, we want a bit of biff in the sport, don't we? Stop. Sorry, it's not tick and pass. It's not cake baking. So that annoyed me a bit. But no, going to the second half, I think we like you said, we lost a bit of composure, and Wigan got in front. And I don't know. A lot of it was sideways from us. We didn't really create anything, and we never really threatened. I can't remember us having a set of 6. I think there was one where we knocked on early doors. I can't remember having another set of 6 in the Wigan sort of 25. Really, I don't think we had any possession up there, so it's difficult to get a result. I mean, the one Wigan try came from Sam Powell, didn't it? I think they got a bit of a dodgy ricochet and that. So we didn't get busted. We didn't get busted down the middle, and and they didn't create loads of chances either. Wigan, did they? So it was one of them. I think we were just a bit rusty. I think there's factors in there. I thought Elijah Taylor looked absolutely goosed, didn't he? I mean, we said he's lost a lot of weight and that, and he come off at the end, he looks absolutely shattered. So I think there's players there who played who perhaps weren't quite ready. They've not done loads of training. So I think you've got to say hats off to them. They've gone out there and give it their all.
Yeah, 20 minutes, Parker, 2 separate periods of 10 minutes down to 12 men away from home against Wigan. It's a big task, isn't it, that to weather the storm, and we did defensively, but attacking wise, yeah, we looked a bit short. What sort of puzzled me the most, because obviously during the game we had sort of 2. We had Atkin, we had Brown, we had Higano, all on the field at sort of one point. So they've got halfbacks there who can make stuff, but just didn't seem to want to happen.
Yeah, I think like what Paul said, I think it's a case that there's too too many halfbacks on the pitch at that time. You know, who's taking control, who's doing what, whose job. I think it was more a case that we just don't have any bodies. You know, they've just got to fill shirts somehow. And at that point in the game, players were obviously tiring, and you know, you got to roll them on, roll them off. Remember at one point, I think was it Higano come on for Paulie, and I was scratching my head thinking, "Whoa, hang on, he's not going in the second row, is he?" You know, he was just shuffling players, you know, all around the park at that point. And I think, I think he's just tired. And I just want to go back to what Paul said about the sin binning with Johnson and Smithies. It's aggression. It's an aggressive sport. You start taking that out of the game, you've not got a game. You know, that was a ridiculous yellow card for both players. And what he's seen there is what happened last week against Leigh with Wigan. He just didn't want that aggro kicking off later in the game. It wasn't that kind of match. It was a few sort of crosswords and that kind of thing, but it wasn't a bad game like that. I think the referee's just gone over the top a little bit there. But what I did want to say was that I think Wigan realised they were in a game and how tough it was, because in the second half they had 3 chances on our line from penalties and they kicked all 3, even though they were in really good attacking positions. And I think then they realised that they were going to find it tough to score against us. And obviously, I think the Powell try, was it that one that came after the sin bin of Vigano? So we're down to 12 men. Can't defend forever, you know, and like we've already said, the discipline's a big problem there. But that's not, I don't see that as a major discipline. I think it's just a lazy tackle more than anything. It can happen. But if it hadn't been for that, I think we'd have held them out for a bit longer. Wigan would have won the game, and rightly so. They were the better team over 80 minutes. But I think we kind of got what we deserved for that. But again, that comes from being probably a little bit tired. And again, because we didn't control the ball in the second half, we just kept giving Wigan the ball. Once they start running at you, you know, they got some big lads out there, some units in the pack. I think it just took it out of the tank for us. And but for me, I was very encouraged, and really at the end of the game, you know, I said to I don't know how many people, I was happy. I don't like getting beat, but I was happy with that. The effort was there. We just lacked that, you know, that 10% that Wigan had with quality, with the likes of possibly, you know, a Jackson Hastings in our side. We'd won that game. So a lot of encouragement, a lot of players to come back into that side. And I think we should really take a lot of credit out of that game. I'm sure if you ask the Wigan players, they'd say they were in a tough game there.
Yeah, I think other positives as well. Ellis Robson made his debut. Paul, impressive, I thought, in his stint. We saw that on the social media, his parents with a passionate message about, you know, what it means to him, what it means to him, and he didn't take a backward step. He didn't look out of place. I think when you see sort of the kids coming through, you always have that instinct to think, well, yeah, he's not big enough or he's not quick enough. But Ellis looked the part for me for his 20-25 minutes there.
Yeah, he did, and you know, he's on loan from Warrington, isn't he? And whether Warrington have got ambitions of keeping him, I'm not too sure. But if they don't, and he wants to come and play for Salford, I'd snap him up, because he looks hungry for it. Like he said, he's a local guy as well, and that passion there. It was nice to see that video, and yeah, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. And we've had a few players this season, haven't we? Some of the lads we've had off St Helens. I know young Ben Davies. I've been very impressed with him when he's played. I'd love to snap him up next season. And you know, there's probably a lot of players around the St Helens, Wigan, Warrington sides who are fringe players, and if they're not going to get a game there, the sort of players I'd be looking at, because there's some real hot prospects there. So yeah, I thought he's a big game for him to make a debut in, you know, going to the DW at Wigan. It's quite a confrontational atmosphere, isn't it? A big game, you know, a big side like Wigan. So yeah, I think he did really, really well.
Yeah, also Dan Sanderson, Joe Burgess, Parky combination on the wing, looked pretty sharp. I've always said that Joe Burgess is a Rolls Royce kind of winger. I think if him and Dan Sanderson can get together and make stuff happen, we've got a real threat on that side of the field.
Well, undoubtedly, as I said before, I think the pair of them were magnificent. I really do. Dan coming back into the side after so long out, and obviously Joe's been in and out a little bit this season. He's not had a lot of game time after his injury earlier on in the year. I thought they were brilliant down that side. I really do. I think a real threat. And I think what I noticed, and I don't know if it is the case, whether it was my terrible eyesight or what, but Wigan's pitch looks a lot wider than ours. I don't know if that's true, but it seems to have more space out on that wing, you know, on that flank. And if you give him a yard, he's going to go. He really is. He's rapping. He's shown that a few times. And I think when you look at that side, and then I've got, as I said before, I mean, you've got Inu possibly to come back in. You've got Ken Seal to come back in. Morgan Escare to go back in there. You've still got the likes of, obviously Costello who's there and Williams. But our back line, our three quarters could be terrifying. Really could. And them two together, because they will have played together at Wigan, I would have thought as well. They know each other's game. I mean, Dan Sargent, for me, he's one of the best English centres, without a doubt. I don't want to see him playing at fullback, I'll be honest with you. But you stick him in the centre, and he's as good as literally anything in this league. And he'll set a lot up because he can get a good offload. He does them half breaks. You've got a man outside, and the pace of Burgess, he's going to score a hatful of tries. So great to see them two together at last. And like I say, get a couple more bodies in there. That back line's really going to scare a few teams.
Yeah, it is. I spoke to Richard Marshall after the game, and this. All right, Rick, it's Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Defeat tonight against Wigan. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I thought we started the game reasonably well. We got on the front foot. I thought we nailed our game plan. We were pretty specific in what we wanted to achieve this week. We went in at the break and there was nothing between the two teams. We felt at half time that if we just built a little bit more pressure and played in the right area, and then lo and behold, we can't even get the first set out of the way. So we're just compounding our errors at the moment. But our desire, I mean, probably really on the big scheme of things, it should have been a 30-point ball game to Wigan, but we just kept defending our line and kept turning up for each other. So I'm really pleased off the back of that, which probably makes it even a bit more frustrating, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, first half was good, smart play, and with Joe Burgess on the wing with pace to burn, we were good value for that first half lead.
Yeah, we were, and it was a nice try, something that we'd spoke about in the week, and we took a real job on that. Danny Orr, looks at the attack and come up with a real good play there, smart, and I thought, yeah, we utilised our strengths this week on that left side, but we didn't utilise our discipline. The 10-minute period probably just finished us off.
Yeah, obviously, two sort of periods of 10 minutes down to 12 men. We talk about discipline a lot, but I think you're a bit hard done by this week.
Yeah, I'd agree. I thought there was a couple of calls there within that. I'd agree with that. I don't, there's Ed's in on the floor and JJ's defending himself again and gets sin binned. There's no excuse for Atters. It was probably a poor timed, ill-judged tackle. But the 6 agains on last plays, they hurt you anyway. I think Wigan were a bit smarter in and around the ruck on that. Yeah, obviously. What's your plan for trying to get the discipline right? Well, we have to get fitter because we have to do more work defensively. We've got to work on our tackle technique. We've got to understand the implications of giving away penalties. We've mentioned that multiple times this year. But at the same time, I think there were some really good signs within the game. Our attitude on the whole, I thought, was really good. And, we were focusing on one area here, but, 90% of the game, I thought we went toe-to-toe. One of the, a really good, decent team in the competition, definitely.
Yeah, Elijah Taylor and Dan Sargent returned, both played very well.
Yeah, we've had a couple of lads who've returned from COVID or injuries. You could tell they were out on the feet. A couple of them boys were out on the feet. They'd not done. You got to bear in mind, we've not been in for 10 days. We had 2 sessions towards this game to get us ready. Obviously, Wigan have had a handful of games and a fielding a pretty different team to what they fielded against Lee as well. We've not got them riches. We just got a small squad, and we've got to get the best out of the group.
Yeah, talking about getting best out of the group. Ellis Roberts come in, with his stint was very impressive.
Yeah, Ellis he's a lovely young man, and he's a Salford lad, Salfordian, and loves the club. We had a couple of messages from his family and well wishes, and I thought he did a real good job. But again, he got a bit tired, and it's a different level, isn't it? The Super League and playing against Wigan, but yeah, he did a real good job for us, and he's got a bright future within the game. Let's hope we can get the best out of him over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Huddersfield next up for Salford. Opportunity to play in front of the home fans and hopefully get a win.
Yeah, we mentioned that. Be a big game again, big week for the club, for us. yeah, we had a good game against Huddersfield, albeit again we added 12 players, but we managed to come through that game. Let's get 13 this week and see how we can go.
Cheers, Rick. Good luck.
Thank you.
Marshall talked to me after the game. Paul, and he was obviously sort of happy the way it started. But obviously, second half, he said it kind of fell apart a bit. But he was happy with the boys' sort of defensive performance. He was a bit miffed by the sin bins, but he's looking forward to Huddersfield, and that's the important thing, I suppose. It's all about learning, what went wrong and how to improve it for next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult at the moment. Just going back to what Parker was saying then about Sargent and Burgess. I mean, it's hard at the moment this season because you're not getting that consistency. If we could get Joe Burgess and Dan Sargent to play 20 games together, then you'd be absolutely mustard, wouldn't they, scoring try. So I don't know. I think it'd be great once we can get like that full 17 out, that squad of players. Because I mean, this week we had players coming back like we've just been talking about. But yeah, Ken Seo and Kristen Anu missing, so you get some back, and then you're hampered by players missing, aren't you? So yeah, that must be frustrating for Marshall, that, because there's an awful lot of potential in that side, and sometimes it's frustrating for him every week. He's got to chop and change it and bring somebody around, or someone's tested positive, or this, that, and the other. So it must be difficult for him. So yeah, I think he can take a lot of art from that game. I really do. I think the performances over the last month or so, all right, we didn't get the bounce of the ball at Leeds and things like that. But I don't think I lack the effort of the players. I think the effort's been there, and there has been like improvements in the team. This week against Huddersfield is a massive game for us now to see where we're at. We've got some big games coming up as well against the team sort of in and around us in the table. So I still think there's a lot of work to be done this season, and there's some good results we can get out of it as well. So I don't think Richard Marsh can be too disheartened. I think his effort there from his players, and that I think has been tremendous.
Yeah, he talked about how good the defence was, Parker. Great desire and good attitude. And that, I suppose, is a heartwarming thing for a coach, that his players that are giving everything they've got.
Well, yeah, I mean, we defend like that, we're hard to beat. And that's the, if you're hard to beat, you've got a chance in every game. If you can defend as a unit, like we did, I mean, he said it himself there in that interview that, Wigan could have got 30. On a normal day, you would expect it. The amount of ball they got in that second half and on our line with penalties and everything else. But as I said before, they respected our defence and decided to take 2 just to get themselves in the lead. I think Richie can be very, very content with that. If we get the attack right, which is still lacking, but we show signs every now and then of doing something, and then it falls apart, or we try too hard in attack. But just listen to Richie then, and he sounded, I know he was happy with certain elements, but he sounded really sort of down about the game. And he didn't come across to me like that Matt. We're going to a great side and don't lose many at home. Let's be honest. I mean, you could probably count up in the last 5 years how many have lost at home. Probably, 5-6 games maximum, I would have thought. They don't lose at home. They're a tough team. They've got real quality in there. I think he should be really, really happy with his team's effort. We still, like we've said a few times, we're still missing players. That's not his 17. Players that were playing there the other night, Brown, Taylor, Sargent, just all coming back into the team at the same time. Danny had it takes a while. It takes 4 or 5 games to get up to the speed of it again. So just listening to him, I thought he's not harsh on his team at all, but he should have a bit more bounce about him after that. I know he don't want to lose. The coach never wants to lose, but the amount of times I've been to Wigan and seen him get an absolute pounding, with a team that has no excuses. I was quite heartened by it, and I think he should be, look forward now. And the big, like Paul said, their big game on Friday, but they can take a lot of credit out of that. Let's see how many bodies we've got left after Friday night, and move forward.
Maybe, Paul, he feels it may be one that got away. Obviously, defence is there. We know how good the defensive, all the hard work they've done in the off-season seems to be coming to fruition now. But you can't defend your way to a win. You need something in that attack to spark. And I feel that's an area he needs to be looking at if we want to get to that sort of playoff spot.
Well, yeah, that's what I said before about the Achilles heel of the attack. I mean, if you take the Castleford game out of the season, that's 70 points we scored there. I mean, I've not done the maths, but you get your calculator out on average at how many points we've scored a game this season. On average, is it about 14, 16, something like that? It might even be that. That's not enough to win matches. You need to be scoring 20 points to win a game. And if you'd have scored 20 points against Wigan, you'd have won the game. So one try, it's not it's not testing them, is it? They always had us at arm's length in that second half. When they got in front, you sort of thought, are we going to score? Where's our try going to come from? We weren't really creating anything either. And yeah, I think that's what Richard Marshall needs to do now. He needs to sort out his 6 and 7. He needs to get that nailed on. And it's difficult. I said it when I spoke a minute ago about getting that 17 out. I mean, we've got a decent squad, 1 to 17. But how many times have we had that 1 to 17 out this season? It's just not happened. And I don't know whether it will happen this season, because it's going to carry on, isn't it? Where, you know, players have got to isolate or this, that and the other. It's a difficult situation at the moment. It must be really, really frustrating for him, because if he could name that side and get it out, you can see it on paper. It's a good side. But are we ever going to see that side this season? That's my only worry, really. So yeah, like Parky said, I come away from Wigan. Well, were you on Friday night, didn't we? Debating in the car on the way home. My dad had a moan like he always does. But it's not a moan.
You check your dad was okay.
He's a perfectionist, isn't he? He's a perfectionist. But no, I think we all know the effort was there, didn't we? But like Parky just said, I think there was a chance there. I thought it was a case of one getting away. I thought we was in with a chance of winning there. I wasn't expecting to win before the game. Then leading 6-4 at half, I thought, yeah, we have got a chance here. Then that second half was a bit of a lead balloon, really, wasn't it? I mean, we were disappointed. We never really looked like scoring. We give 3 silly penalties away. They scored 6 points from it, and then the game's drifted away. And it's annoying, that, really. You know, when you could have had a famous win.
Looking at the stats, top tacklers: Taylor 43, Andy Ackers 47, Armand Roy 28, Mossop 27, and Levette 27. Parker. You know, a lot of hard work there from Ackers and Elijah Taylor with the top 40s tackling there.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I mean, it's great to see Taylor back, and that we know that's what he does. Tackles for fun, doesn't he? Before his injury, that's what he was doing, 40, 50 tackles every week. And as good as that is, and you know, you're not going to take that off him. It's going to burn him out. And again, like Paul said, at the end of the game, he was blowing. He was shattered, the poor lad. He's not played for what, I don't know, 2 months, is it? Something I don't even know how long. Somebody else has got to pick up that baton as well. And I know you mentioned other players there, but when he comes, he's got to be a little bit more. We've got to protect players a little bit more when it gets to that. And the mate Ian, who I was sat with at the game, he sort of commented that he didn't think he was doing much. He didn't think Taylor was in the game. You know, he won't be. He won't be with the ball. He's got real qualities as a ball handling forward, but he's probably out on his feet half the time doing all them tackles. Somebody's got to step up and take them extra tackles off him. And I know, again, we have players missing. I know it seems an obvious excuse, but I think, you know, when he goes back to loose forward, which hopefully he will do, whoever the 2 back rowers are that take them places, have got to work the socks off for him and help him out a bit, because he can't do that. He's, you know, again, he's not old, but he's not, and he's, you know, he's not exactly prime at the moment, and just take a little bit of pressure off him. But that's a lot of work for one man to do. And but hopefully we can get that right and get more ball control and not have to do as much tackling. We'll see the best of Elijah Taylor yet.
Yeah, it reminds me of was he called Adamson? Paul tackled above his weight, tackled all the time.
Luke Adamson
did too much tackling and didn't really see too much with the ball in his hands, and that's my kind of worry with Elijah Taylor. If he's pulling out 40, 50 tackles every game, he's not going to be able to do much with the ball, which is a problem for Richard Marshall, because he's part of our sort of spine of the team, and he needs to be that extra pivot, but he can't be doing that if he's sort of blowing in the background when we're attacking.
No, other players have got to step up and do the work, haven't they? And a couple of players, I name them, but there was one I thought on Friday night who didn't do a lot of tackling, and he didn't spend much time on the pitch, to be honest. And they've all got to do it. You've all got to do the work. And it's funny because I seen Elijah Taylor walking off at the end, and he was like the last one to go off. The lights had actually gone off, and it was dead dark, and you could just see him wandering off at the end, and he was absolutely knackered. I mean, he's like, where are all my teammates gone? They've all buggered off, but he just looked like an absolute broken man, the amount of work he'd done. And to me, you can't like have a go at anybody for that. That is like a warrior, isn't it? With what he puts into the game. And I think he's lost quite a bit of weight from what Richard Marshall has said. And he's come back in there, and to play that whole game against a big Wigan pack as well. There's some big players in that, you know, like Tony Clubb, he's absolutely massive. And some of those other Wigan forwards, I think what's the other lad called? That Liam Burns, another guy as well. Bullock, I thought he played really well for Wigan. He's huge. So he had a lot of tackling to do there. And yeah, the rest of the guys have got to step up as well and do the business with him. You can't just leave it to the same people all the time. So when he has got that pressure taken off him, then he can start doing a bit more with the ball, but he's going to be absolutely goosed.
Yeah. Talking about the meters, Parker, Burgess 188, Johnson 74, Dan Sargent 144, Ormond Royd 77, and Harvey Levette with 68. Josh Johnson 74, Ormond Royd 77. I always say we try and get over 100, but against a big Wigan pack, it's a good effort that.
Yeah, again, we didn't have enough ball, did we, to make meters? You know, we might as well write that last 40 minutes off as we weren't making any. You know, if it wasn't coming from, like you said there, Burgess and Sargent running the ball back out from from them kicking down pitch or whatever, or run it out from dummy out. We didn't have any possession. We weren't going to make many meters. And credit to Wigan, you know, their defence was solid and they forced errors. We didn't just drop the ball. So yeah, obviously not as many meters from the forwards as we'd like, but again, like I just said there, we've just had this discussion. If forwards are doing all that tackling, I don't know how much gas they've got in the tank to go forward and make real meters and break tackles, you know, and that's tough. And I know we'll go on to it shortly, but when you've got, you know, players who clearly aren't fit and probably shouldn't be playing, that doesn't help either. But yeah, you know, overall we can look at stats and so on, but as an overall performance, I was happy with it. And if we play like that most weeks, I don't think there'll be too many unhappy fans, and I think we'll win more games going forward now than we'll lose.
Yeah, looking at you. Big thanks for the 3-word match reports of man of the matches. Mark Scott, great defensive effort. Sargentson, Stuart Smart, ill-discipline cost us Burgess. SR, ill-discipline again at Burgess. Lee Maddox, Burgess. And finally, Lee Maddox again. He wasn't happy with the referee. Do you think the referee was a bit off, Paul? Not really.
And I never really blame referees. I don't know. I didn't agree. Like me and Parky were saying before about the sin bin. I don't think that's just that referee, Tom Grant, on Friday night. I think he's a fairly new referee, to be honest with you. No, I didn't think he did an awful lot wrong, to be honest. But I think it's a cultural thing within the game now with referees. I think they've just become a bit, I don't know, for want of a better word, a bit mad for me. It's you know, it's rugby league. It's, you know, you watch the State of Origin and things like that. The referees just seem to be a bit more tougher. They let the game flow. It's rugby league. It's like I said before. It's not the British Bake Off. It's, you know, or playing cricket or cucumber sandwiches and all that sort of stuff. It's rugby league. It's a physical sport. It's you're gonna get physical contact. You're gonna get people knocking into each other and people saying, "Oh, you've hit me there. I'll whack you," and that sort of thing. So I think the referees have got to understand that, and it's not a yellow card every time somebody has a bit of fisticuffs with someone. So because the supporters love that as well. We all love that. It gets us all off our chairs, doesn't it? And that's what we go to the game for. So yeah, I've got no axe to grind against the referee. I didn't think he was particularly bad, to be honest, but I never really noticed referees. I don't know. I do notice sometimes on social media people bag him off every week. Don't say, "Oh, he's terrible on that and this, that, and the other." But I don't know. I try to watch the game and ignore the referee if you can, really.
Yeah, I think you don't. There's no game about the referee, is there? They're only human.
No.
They will make mistakes, but you just hoping you get sort of more than you don't. But it depends where you look at it. Some people get paranoid and think we don't get as much as we should. But it is the way it is. We don't have a game without them, Parker. I think they need a bit more help. I think video referees should be at every game. I think they should have in-goal judges and touchline judges. The more eyes on the prize, the better, the more decisions you get right.
Well, you just took the words out of my mouth, really. He needs more help. There was an incident in the second half where I don't know if it was Hanley on the wing, Ellery's lad, and he dropped the ball from a kick. And I don't think the referee was given it. I think the linesman gave that we were offside. And I was actually in line with it as it happened. And we weren't offside. The players that were offside weren't involved. You know, they stayed out of the actual tackle that was coming up. So when we weren't within that 10. Incidents like that where we were struggling to make ground, then we get in their half and the referee, or linesman as it was, give a decision like that. You're thinking, how the referee's going to get the flack for that, but it wasn't. He didn't call it. You know, someone's called it on his behalf, and I think they do need more help. Video refs every game might help, but isn't there always an extra official sat in the stand? reviewing everything at a game. Can we not, even if it's just for, a 20-second, can you just look at that incident while we're on the run? While we're still playing, you look at that and then we can go back if we have to. Something like that, because it's not, the referee can't see everything. I've bagged referees this year a few times, and I think the refereeing standards are lower than they've been. Let's just say that, and even though they're all full time. But they can't see everything. They can't be everywhere. Stuff goes on off the ball that they rely on a linesman to see. And a lot of time, I think the lines people or whatever, they seem a bit scared of getting involved. And then they'll get involved in something trivial or, I don't know. And like Paul said, they are becoming a bit soft. The incident where both players got simmed, and I think like 4 officials or something were on the pitch at one point discussing it. They just come to vote. It wasn't a massive incident. You could see it on the screen. We could obviously have a live screen there. You could see what had happened, right? Just get on with it. They held the game up for 2 or 3 minutes over an incident that didn't need really looking at. But, referees make mistakes. Our players made a lot of mistakes. And I just want to talk about the fans. I thought they were magnificent on Friday night from start to finish. The full 80, they got behind the team so well. It was great to be back involved and having that buzz around me and seeing all the faces. It's been obviously a while for an away game for me just recently. But no, the noise they made, the way they got behind the team, they backed them at tough times in the game as well. And I think the players really appreciated it. Looking at the end of the game, I know they always come over and give you a little clap or whatever, but I think there was an extra effort from them to come over to see us. And I just wanted to give the fans a big shout for that, because support like that when you're getting beat is pretty special, I think. And I know we all like to sing for fans. I think it's just a way of getting over depression most of the time. They were magnificent. And I think every single one of them should give themselves a pat on the back.
Yeah, fantastic. Always fantastic. Paul, our fans, he makes some magical noise. Obviously, when I'm in the commentary box, I'm in a good position. I can hear them singing all the songs, and it's obviously the players appreciate the noise, makes them give them that extra 10%.
Yeah, it does. I was sat with my dad in the away end, and I dumped you in the commentary box, didn't I?
You did.
Swapped you. Yeah. So no, it was good. It was good to be in that stand, and like Park said, they never stopped singing for the whole game. And they were giving it the Wigan supporters as well. I thought they showed the Wigan supporters up a bit, really. They didn't really. No, I think Salford supporters are like that. You could be losing 50-0 and they still get behind the team because it's just the way they've been brought up, isn't it? So yeah, but like Park said, it was great to be back in the stands and just seeing faces, and chatting to people and that. It's you really miss that side of the game, I think, when we've not been going to matches or they've been behind closed doors or whatever. You miss that sort of family of the sport. So I really enjoyed that sort of social side of it on Friday night.
Yeah, it was very good. I'm sure there'll be many more to come. So that's our look back at the Wigan defeat. And next we'll look at all the big news coming out of the club this week. So let's start with Lee Mossop, who's announced his retirement with immediate effect, Parker, due to injury. What a leader he's been for us and a player. Fantastic. Unfortunately, injury has ended his career with us.
I don't know where to start. I don't know how to give him the credit that he deserves. What an absolute as a leader, as a captain, he has led from the front. He has led by example. He's done something I didn't think I'd see in my lifetime. He's led a team out not only at Old Trafford for that magnificent grand final, but the cup final, Challenge Cup final. He's been pivotal in everything that's gone on at this club. And I think he brought on a playing side a level of professionalism to the changing rooms that I think the players, you see the response today on Twitter and things like that from the other players, how much he's led that club. And he mentions in his little sort of speech there how much it's the club he loves now. I can't give the guy enough credit. I really can't. He has been a special leader, and I think the word gets branded about probably a little bit too much, but I honestly believe he is a legend. I think he is a Salford legend for what he achieved in this. It's only 5 years. It's not 10, 15. It's nothing like that. But what we've achieved as a club in that time, and with him as captain. I know he was joint captain for a couple of years or whatever, but to come through what he came through with that shoulder injury, and I've got to give Ian Watson a lot of credit for that, for getting him into the club, giving him belief that he can still rebuild his career. And I think towards the back end of 2019, for me, he could have gone into an international team. He'd been that good that year. Him and Gil Dudson at prop were outstanding, and he's going to be very, very difficult to replace. Not just as a prop forward, and a good player, but as a captain. I like I say, I can't speak highly enough of him. I'm so disappointed for the lad, but he's got the rest of his life to live. His family and his health come first, and he's just got to look after himself now. It's a shame it's come to this, but again, you saw Friday night. He didn't stop working, even though he already knew that career was probably over at that point. I think he'd been to see the doctors last week, and they basically told him. So it's an apt way for him to probably end as well, being away at Wigan, where obviously he had great success as well. Won the grand final with him. I think he might have won a Challenge Cup maybe with him. Certainly played for England during his spell there. What a superb player. I like I said, I don't know how to put into words how grateful I am as a fan for having to, being able to watch somebody like that. A big Cumbrian who came down and played for Wigan, and all of a sudden Salford's his love, and he's shown it on the pitch for me, and I just wish him all the best.
Yeah, captain us to a grand final. Paul, who can forget he's won his great try against Wigan in the semi-final. Salford fans, every Salford fan, you were there. You can remember that moment, the tears streaming down our faces. Captain us to the Challenge Cup final as well. Will be remembered as one of our great captains, that I feel, and it's a blow that he's left. But obviously, his health is the most important thing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he'd only played 70 odd matches in 5 years. I thought he played a lot more than that, and I think that just goes to show that he's struggled with injury, hasn't he? He's probably not played at half as many games as he would have liked to have done. But just going back to this injury, I don't think he's just been told last week about that shoulder. He's probably been told a long while ago about that shoulder, and he's just kept on going as long as he could. And I think he's got to that point now where it's probably unbearable pain that he's in. I mean, you look at his routine over the last few years where he's been warming up on his own before games, and that he must have been going through the pain barrier big time. And you can only admire that, really. I mean, he's probably been having injections and all sorts. I mean, I think if you probably asked his wife what he's like the day after a match, it's probably awful. The pain that he's in, getting up, and you can't imagine it, what they go through in 80 minutes, and if they're struggling as well, because I don't know Lee Mossop personally, but I think when he came back from Australia, he's having problems with his shoulder, and that's a long while ago, isn't it? And to go through all that and carry on the way he has done, leading us and taking us to a grand final, to a cup final, yeah, I can't echo what Parky said. I can't give him any more attributes than what he's done. Absolute legend of the club, and be ever grateful. And I'm just disappointed he didn't get to have his send off at a home game, in front of the crowd at the AJ Bowl. But what I did notice on Friday night, my dad said the same thing to me. He came over to the fans and he was clapping them a lot longer than what people normally do. And he put it into place then when he spoke to me today, saying that must have been why, because he announced that. So yeah, great guy, and I think he's been tremendous for us, and he'll be remembered for a very long time.
Yeah, we had a pop-up podcast with him. I think it was in the off-season, talked about his career at Wigan and his career in Australia, and how much problems he's had with his shoulders through his career, and how Ian Watson kind of sort of took him under his wing and started to believe in himself a bit more, started enjoying rugby league again. And he's been here for 5 years now. Came in 2017 up to now, played 79 games, scored 7 tries. What a warrior he's been. Yeah, big thanks for everything you've done for us, Lee. Thanks for the memories. And we hope that you enjoy your retirement. Don't forget, there is a testimonial dinner. He's having a testimonial dinner on the 28th of August, which will be great if you could attend that for him. Adrian Marley's there, Jamie Moore's there, Anthony Corolla's there. That'll be fantastic evening for everyone to enjoy. Parker.
Yeah. Do you have any more details on that? I know I've seen it, but I'm just thinking now while I'm writing down. Do you have
Yeah, I've got. Get the pen now. Get everyone else get the pen while you're there. 28th of August. Adrian Marley, Jamie Moore, Anthony Corolla. It's £100 per person or 900 quid for a table. So contact. I suppose you'd have to go through the club, or you can go through. I know there's Lee Mossop is on Instagram testimonial, so you can find him on there if you want to sort of book a ticket for the event. It'll be well worth going to if you can.
Yeah,
okay,
very much so. I hope he's. It's a shame again. It's happening in his testimonial year and all. It's hopefully it might give him a bit more time to focus and sort of put a few more events on, maybe something that all the fans can get to at the end of the year or something. Be nice for him. I hope he makes plenty of money to help him through. I know he's giving half to charity or something. I mean, there you go again. It's a homeless charity that's based in Salford, and he's doing something for the homeless or something. Back up in his native Cumbria. That speaks volumes of the guy. I think even if you're not a Salford fan, as a rugby league fan, I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't respect him for what he's done as a player, and now he's proving what he does off the pitch. And I hope he stays involved in the game, because he'll have a lot of knowledge to pass on, and his leadership qualities are something not everybody's bred with. And he hopefully he can pass that on to somebody else, someone in the youth or whatever going forward. But yeah, whatever he does, as I say, just wish him all the best.
Yeah. Other big news. New signing alert. Paul, Brodie Croft. He signed on a 2-year deal. 24-year-old, come from the NRL, ex-Brisbane Broncos, ex-Melbourne Storm. He's won the World Club Championships in 2018 and lost the grand final with Storm. So this guy has good pedigree.
He's not quite ex-Brisbane yet. He's still at Brisbane for this season, and
but he will be.
He's still playing for them at the moment, and he's still in their side as well. And I believe he's doing all right. I mean, I don't watch as much NRL as I should do, but I know my dad does, and he listens to a lot of it on the radio as well. And he was impressed when he said about Croft. He said, he's not just a make weight; he's in their side. Now I know Brisbane Broncos aren't the Brisbane Broncos they were a couple of years ago. They've been struggling a bit this season. But having said that, if you parachuted them into Super League, I still think they do pretty well. Wouldn't they? Probably the top 2 or 3, wouldn't they? So I think he's a great signing, and not only that, he's not a guy that's coming over who's like 32, 33-year-old for a bit of a payday. He's 24, and to me, he's obviously got a point to prove. He wants to come over here and stick 2 fingers up to people over there, a bit like Jackson Hastings did. I've got a point to prove. I'm here. I can do this, and if he's got that attitude, then that could be dangerous. I mean, look at Hastings, how good he was for us. So it's an exciting sign, it really is, and I'm just hoping Richard Marshall now can find a partner for him, whether it's somebody we've already got at the club now or whether it's somebody he brings in. I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. I'm sure he'll know all that, and he'll have worked all that out and have people in mind. I think there's some good guys at the club, isn't there? Like Chris Atkin, who's there, and we don't know who else is moving on, but I know Chris is under contract, so would he make a good partner? I'm not too sure. I hope so. So yeah, but it's an exciting signing for us, definitely.
Yeah, looking at the stats, Parker, 66 appearances, 15 tries, 9 goals. He's got 3 assists, 5 line breaks, and he's got a 75% kick success ratio, which is pretty good.
Listen, I've watched a lot of NRL over the last, I don't know how many years. I remember this kid coming on the scene at Melbourne, and from what I recall, he was going to be the next big thing. I don't care if you've watched NRL or not. You know that Melbourne Storm are magnificent. They are an unbelievable side, one of the greatest sides ever put together, possibly over the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. He's been the halfback in that team. He has led that team before he. To be part of that squad is something special. You're not going to be a dummy. Believe me, you've got to be a good player. He went to Brisbane. He's done well, but I think his relationship with the manager there, Walters, is rocky. Let's say that, and there's been problems at Brisbane for the last couple of years, on and off. I think he picked players out every now and then who's to blame or who's in favour, who's not. This kid will, if it works, he will light up Super League. He's probably more advanced on his ladder than Jacko was when he arrived. This kid, he's he's a special player. He really is. I'm blown away by the fact that we've got him. I'm absolutely buzzing. I know Face isn't saying it at the moment, but I'm just trying to think that we fought off, from what I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think we fought off 3 NRL clubs and 2 of our own Super League clubs for this guy's signature. That's a lot of commitment from the club. Bleasy obviously chasing him down and that kind of thing. Paul King, obviously backing us again. What a player! What an absolute star! And if it does work, and like I say, we'll light up Super League, and we get a decent, 17 on the pitch every week, we might have another Man of Steel contender in our ranks, because I rate him that highly. And people say, "Oh, he's out of form, or he's this at Brisbane." I think we're forgetting the difference between the NRL and Super League. Like Paul said, Brisbane might be struggling. The Bulldogs have been awful for a couple of years at the bottom of that league. They'd easily finish in the top 2 or 3 in Super League. But, you've got to put it in context of how good these players are. And I think other clubs in the Super League will be looking at us now going, hang on a minute, how have they managed that? And looking over the shoulders a little bit. It's a great signing, really is, and a great step forward for us. And hopefully that opens the door for other players coming through now.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. See what he brings to the club next season. That's all the big news this week. And now we're going to look at what's happening with the amateur scene with Paul Whiteside.
Here is this week's Devil the Detail amateur report. We'll start off as we normally do with the National Conference Leagues. At the weekend just gone, Oldham St Anne's in League C beat Waterhead Warriors in an Oldham derby by 17 points to 12. The match between Rochdale Mayfield and Woolston Rovers was postponed. The fixtures for this weekend, these games are all going to be played on Saturday the 7th of August. In League C, Rochdale Mayfield play Clockface Miners, Woolston Rovers at home to Oldham St Anne's, and Saddleworth Rangers play Waterhead Warriors, and that's another Oldham derby there. So League C at the moment, Crossfield stay top. They've won 6 from 9. Clockface are second with 5 wins from 8. Then it's Oldham St Anne's, Rochdale Mayfield, Woolston Rovers and Saddleworth Rangers in last place at the minute with 3 wins from 9 matches. Well, moving on to the North West Men's League, there wasn't a lot of results to write home about this weekend. Quite a lot of no results and postponements once again. But in Division 2, Thatto Heath Crusaders B, Caddy's Head Rhinos 24. West Horton Lions had another good win. They beat Hinepool Tigers by 30 points to 28. Wigan Springview 18, Folly Lane 22. In Division 3, Rochdale Mayfield A 36, Roost Pioneers 28. And there was one result in Division 5, South and East. It was another big win for Salford City Roosters A. They won away from home at Bolton Next by 56 points to 6. The fixtures for this weekend, Saturday the 7th of August once again. Division 1, Oldham St Anne's A play Bury Broncos. Division 2, Caddy's Head play Folly Lane. West Horton Lions play Wigan St Pat's A. In Division 3, Rochdale Mayfield A at homes to Woolston Rovers A. And Division 4, Burton Woodbridge play Langworthy Reds. Higginshaw play Wigan St Jude's. Division 5, North and West, it's Liverpool St Helens against Higginshaw A. And Division 5, South and East, Salford City Roosters A are at home to Waterhead Warriors A. In the North West Youth League, there's not much here as well, actually, from the weekend. Sunday, the 1st of August, in the under-18s, Waterhead Warriors 22, Lee Minor Rangers 30. In the under-16s, Saddleworth Rangers 48, or Orrell St James Goals 0. And in Division 1, it was, of the under-16, it was Ince Rosebridge 46, Rochdale Mayfield 4. There are no fixtures scheduled for this weekend. We'll turn our attention now to life outside Super League as we do every week. It was Betfred Championship Round 15 at the weekend, and it was a win for Swinton Lions. They won away from home at Dewsbury Rams with a last-minute try. Jack Hanson going over in the 80th minute there in that match to give Swinton the victory. They were trailing 12-4 at half-time. They won that game 22 points to 18. After 14 straight defeats, they finally got their first win of the season. So congratulations to the Lions. Featherstone Rovers, they were beaten for the first time this year in a top-of-the-table clash. Over 4,000 turned up there at Post Office Road. Featherstone 6, Toulouse Olympic 23. So Toulouse march on and keep their unbeaten run going. There's another cracking match as well at the Shea. Halifax Panthers 24, Bradford Bulls 21. Newcastle Thunder 14, Whitehaven 20, Oldham 20, London Broncos 30, and Widnes Vikings were beaten at home to Batley Bulldogs by 34 points to 16. The match between Sheffield Eagles and York City Knights was postponed. In Betfred League 1, the big match between Workington and Barrow was postponed, but the other results, Doncaster 24, Hunslet 46, London Scholars 12, Coventry Bears 14. A try there for Liam Wellham in that game, so big win for Coventry have been going pretty well. North Wales Crusaders, they beat West Wales Raiders by 72 points to 4. And Rochdale Hornets were beaten at home to Keighley Cougars by 42 points to 20. The fixtures for this week in the outside Super League matches: Betfred League 1 Saturday the 7th of August, 3:30 kick-off. London Scholars face Rochdale Hornets. West Wales take on Doncaster. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. The rest of the games are going to be played on Sunday. The Betfred Championship, they're all 3 o'clock kick-offs. Batley Bulldogs face Featherstone Rovers. Bradford Bulls play Sheffield Eagles. Halifax Panthers are at home to Newcastle Thunder. London Broncos entertain Toulouse Olympics. Swinton Lions and Oldham meet Hayward Road. Those two sides in the relegation zone at the moment. Big match there between those two. Whitehaven play Dewsbury Rams, and York City Knights are at home to Widnes. They're all 3 o'clocks in Betfred League 1 as well. Barrow play Hunslet. Coventry Bears play North Wales Crusaders, and Keighley Cougars are at home to Workington Town. That's all I've got for you this week. Hopefully we'll see you at Wigan Friday night, 6th of August, 7:45, Wigan against Salford. Take care, have a good week.
So that was Paul's amateur scene, and next up we'll look at the big game against Huddersfield on Friday night.
It's time for the Devil in the Details Big Match Preview.
So, Salford at home to Huddersfield, the return of Ian Watson. Paul, excited?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about Watson, to be honest with you. It's Richard Marshall's Salford team now, innit? And it's all about us winning that game. I know the supporters are going to probably have a bit of beef for Watson, but for me, it's all about us getting the win. It's all about us getting the victory, and that all comes with it, doesn't it? And I think that's what makes sport. You know, Luke Yates is going to be there as well. And I think that's just going to add to the spice to the occasion. And yeah, you're going to be excited by stuff like that, because it's little stories like that in sport that make sport what's so great, don't they? And rivalries and people coming back to clubs and returning and things like that. So yeah, I expect Mr. Watson to get a bit of an hostile reception. I don't know, about a bit of a mixed bag for him, because he did a good job at Salford, didn't he? So there's two sides to that coin. But I'm excited for the game. I think Huddersfield have won the last 3. And they've had a bit of an upturn in form. I've been very, very impressed with Leon Price's lad, Will Price, who's been playing for him. He's looked a real star. And I mean, it's funny really, because when Ian Watson went to Huddersfield, a lot of talk was about the young players that they had. And I looked at the side, and it all seemed to revolve around Aidan Caesar and these sort of big names. And they've been injured. I think they've had a few injuries, and they brought some of these kids, and it's the kids that have actually been getting them the results. So I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to be a good night, and yeah, I'm just interested to see what sort of reception Yates and what I'll get.
Yeah, they're 9th in the league, 35% win ratio at Parkett, the top of the marker tackles and the average gains, but we're ahead of them in the meters, the assists, the tackles and tackle bursts. So both sides are quite evenly matched, but even though we played them at Huddersfield and won, it's going to be a tough contest.
I think it's a great matchup between the two. Obviously, if we win this week and we go above them, and we'll still have a game in hand, you know, it's a great opportunity for us again. I'm sure the occasion won't be lost on the players, even though Richard Marshall will try and take that out of them. You know, a lot of them players that even signed for this year were Ian Watson signings. They thought they were signing for Ian Watson Salford, not Richie Marshall. So then maybe they've got a point to prove as well. If we get our players back that we think would start the game, I'm supremely confident we'll turn them over. I know they've been winning, but they've been a bit scratchy, Huddersfield. And I like what Paul said about Pricey, lad. He reminds me of his dad so much. His running style, that he holds the ball out in front and he steps. And I mean, the amount of times that Leon Price destroyed us for Saints and Bradford is alarming. Because every time
funny.
So if he's like his dad, you know, we could be in trouble. But yeah, I think, you know, like I say, you've got Yates, you've got Jones as well in their pack. But I think we've got more than enough for them. I really do. I mean, last week Wakefield, quite frankly, from what I saw, threw the game away. You know, they were 18-4 up after 20 odd minutes and got beat, and that seems a bit ridiculous. You play sensible from there. You take a drop goal every now and then or whatever. You win the game, just see it out. And I know Chris Chester was obviously fuming with Wakefield although he seems to be fuming with somebody every week. So that's, he's an angrier man than me. But I think it's going to be a cracking game. I really do. The atmosphere will be, as Paul's pointed out, with Watto coming back and everything else. I think it's crackling. I really do. And it's our first time. Hopefully we can get a good, a decent crowd back in. And as I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, the noise that we made at Wigan, we bring that to an home game with a few thousand more there. I think it's been a great night. One that you just don't want to miss. Under the floodlights and all. It's going to be great to be back, sort of in a normal environment, watching a game like this. I think this is what Super League's all about.
Yeah, obviously, hopefully, no COVID positives, full week of training. Paul, players will be fired up, ready to go. Obviously, last week against Wigan, defence was good. Attack needed some work. Hopefully, they've had a week to sort that out.
Yeah, I think, the attack's a big one this week. As I mentioned before, that Will Price has been playing his other halfback partner, Russell. Oliver Russell, he's another youngster as well I've been impressed with. So those two have sort of gelled well together. So you look at Huddersfield's side, they've probably got points in them. They've got some decent backs, haven't they? But no, I like what Paggy said. I think we can match them from 1 to 13. There's no doubt about that. For me, we've just got to, I don't know what the answer is. I think we've just got to be a bit more direct. Just run a bit more direct and just see what we can play. I think we need a good spell from the forwards. They've got a decent pack, and if you think back to the game a couple of months ago at Huddersfield, it was a war in the two packs. Really, went toe to toe with each other, didn't it? It was a real battle. So I think you're going to get that again. They're going to come and have a go at us, aren't they? And be aggressive. I think they'll be aggressive again, and I think that'll be what those tactics. But no, it does. You think about it, and these are the sort of games that you live for, aren't they? This sort of stuff, this sort of rivalry, and the return of somebody. So I'm really looking forward to it, especially that with the restrictions. Well, anybody can go. I just really hope that the public of Salford get behind it, and let's just probably get out there this week on social media and let people know about this lad we've signed for next season, and really sort of drum it up and drum the excitement up, because obviously that's for next season, but there's still a lot of rugby league to be played this season, isn't there? So I'm excited. I can't wait for I've got the day off work as well, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Score prediction, Parky.
Just thinking about that, I'll say 24-12 to Salford.
24-12. There's a story behind that.
All our three quarters will score. So the two wings and two centres will score tries. And if Inu's playing, he will bang over all 4 goals.
Good. I'll take that. Paul, what about you?
I'm going to go Salford 16, Huddersfield 14.
Story behind that?
Sam Luckley to score the winning try and do his Alan Shearer celebration around the pitch. I was hoping he was going to save that for St James's Park, but I don't know, mate. To be honest with you, I just want him to win the game. I think a cliffhanging sort of last minute try it'd be great, wouldn't it? But no, I'll just take a win.
What's the weather going to be like?
Let's have a look. No, my phone.
Have a look.
I'll just go on my iPhone and have a look.
It's like BBC weather.
40% chance of rain, mate. 19 and 12, so
good.
17 degrees, won't it? So it's not going to be red hot, is it? So perfect conditions, I'd say. And that pitch at the AJ Bell, as I say in my reports every week, is always immaculate, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think Mark works really hard on that pitch.
Yeah, he does.
So I'm going to go Salford to win. I'm going to go 36-10. 36-10, and I'm going to go for Tui with 2.
What about Sid Binnings and red cards this week? We're going to be asking about that, shouldn't we?
Well, go on then. What do you reckon, Parky? We're going to stay with 13 on the pitch?
Yes, we are. We're going to be so disciplined this week. And in fact, Huddersfield are going to get agitated. 2 of theirs are going to get binned.
All right. How about you, Paul?
I think we should wind that Luke Yates up and get him sent off. Watson might get sent off. He might get sent to the stands.
Yeah. I think after last week, I think we'll only go down to 10 men.
Yeah, as long as we win, I'm not bothered.
Yeah. So that's the end of this week's podcast. Parky, another good show.
Yeah, plenty to talk about. you know, off a decent performance last week, we've had obviously the sad news about Moose and the great news about Brody. So yeah, it's been a good chat.
Yeah, another great show. Paul, we obviously we're now on YouTube, so everyone can watch us as well as listening to us. We've got 40 subscribers now, which is fantastic. So if you're listening to this, you haven't managed to subscribe on YouTube yet, make sure you go on YouTube and subscribe to us, and you can you watch us as well as listening to us.
Yeah, it sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds good. I just need to get myself a decent background, don't I know?
Yeah.
Because Park is amazing, isn't it? But no, yeah, enjoy the show though. It's nice to be back on, and yeah, hopefully I'll be on again next week, work permitting.
Yeah, big thanks to tunes this week's Devil Detail podcast. I'm Rob Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD. And you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. See you next week.